Shakima, I forgot. What did you forget? I forgot to do Idoly Pride Enemy. Yeah, I did it for Unaburi Nonstop, but I forgot to just download anime called Idoly Pride. Yeah, that's right. Okay, go. Yeah, that's right. Google anime.so. Really? Uh-huh. What did they put in there? I don't know. I don't know what they put in there. Okay, it looks like I have to put on Idoly Pride episode 5. Yeah. Okay, let me just download that. It's okay though. Yep. Just gonna have to make sure it's just yeah. Here we go. Alright. So here it comes. You're just gonna have to wait for that to download and then we'll be ready. Yeah. How did they put in there? I don't know. It's okay though, right? Yeah, it's okay. Sometimes they put in there. Yeah, probably. They put on a new anime, of course. Why is my YouTube channel going to be an opera just to download some videos? Really? I don't know. I just have to wait for download it to start. Yeah. Can't clear all this, right? No, you can't clear. Okay, that's good. I'm just gonna have to wait for a while. Okay. It looks like we're gonna have to just go to class together, huh? Yeah, we need to go to class. Oh yeah, I need to teach class. You need to teach class? Yeah, I need to teach class with 2 students about filmmaking lesson. Yeah. Okay, let's just do that. Okay, looks like I'm gonna have to just copy this video. And copy. I'm gonna paste it to documents right now. Okay, good. Okay, just gonna have to go down for a second to make sure I won't get any videos to be all this. Yeah. Here we go. Now I'm gonna put on pasty here. I'm gonna put on Ollie Pride. Yeah. Ollie Pride into May. It's 21 episode. We got all 5, right? We got all 5. Okay. Looks good. Now I'm gonna have to just turn off anyway. Okay, good. Wait. Maybe not. One. I'm just gonna have to go to that thing. Yeah, Ollie Pride, huh? It does. Okay. Okay, Ollie Pride episode 5. Yeah, good idea. You just have to wait for a while. You have to wait for a while? Yeah. Okay, that's good. Right. Just have to wait for a while, and it takes 23 minutes long to do that. Yeah. Is your video doing that? I'm not sure yet. My video does that. Yeah. It's cool, huh? Yeah. Gets a little choppy though. So it's really good. I love it. Shh. Quiet, please.
Hello class. Welcome to this week's filmmaking lesson. I might not be here at Loyalist College. I will be at Walt Disney World again to go to Magic Kingdom Adventureland and stay at Disney's Wilderness Lodge. Alright. So first, we will be doing home video releases. On today, we will be doing Elizabethtown 2005 film. Here is the plot in this film. Drew Baylor is a designer for a shoe company. When his latest design, hyped to be a great accomplishment in his life, has a flaw that will cost the company $972 million to correct, Drew is shamed by his boss before he is dismissed. Disappointed in his failure, and the subsequent breakup with his girlfriend Ellen, he plans to commit suicide, only to be stopped at the last moment by a call from his sister Heather telling him that his father died while visiting family in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. When his mother Holly refuses to go, following a dispute between her and the rest of the Kentucky Baylors, Drew volunteers to retrieve the body. On the flight to Kentucky, Drew meets Claire, an optimistic and kind flight attendant who gives him a seat in first class, due to the plane being empty. She provides helpful advice to a despondent Drew, giving him directions and tips on getting to his destination before they part. When he gets to Elizabethtown, Drew is met by the family, and he makes arrangements for a cremation at his mother's request, despite the family's objections. While staying at a hotel, where a wedding reception is being held, Drew calls his mother and sister, then his ex-girlfriend, as he continues to struggle with his suicidal thoughts. Finally, he calls Claire, and the two of them talk for hours. She impulsively suggests they meet before she has to depart on a flight to Hawaii. Drew comes to grips with his father's death, and while he is visiting his Aunt Dora, his Uncle Bill remarks on how his father would look in the suit. Drew realizes that he hadn't given the suit to the mortuary to be cremated, and has second thoughts on the procedure. He rushes out to stop the cremation but is too late and is given his father's ashes. Claire returns from her flight and unexpectedly meets him at his hotel, where they have sex. Afterwards, she tells him she loves him, and he responds with regret that he failed at his life, admitting he was contemplating suicide. Claire leaves upset that Drew had not responded in kind. Holly and Heather arrive for the service, and Holly tells a series of amusing anecdotes with her eulogy. Claire arrives, and tells Drew to take one final trip with his father, giving him a map with special stops to make along the way. Drew follows the map home, spreading his father's ashes at memorable sites until reaching a farmer's market, where a series of notes gives him a choice, to either follow the map home, or follow new direction. He chooses the latter, where Claire is waiting for him. The two kiss and Drew finally realizes he loves her. Alright. On tomorrow, we will be doing Elysium 2013 film. Here is the plot in this film. In 2154, Earth citizens live in poverty. The rich and powerful live on Elysium, a gigantic space habitat in Earth's orbit. Elysium is technologically advanced, with devices that can cure all diseases, reverse aging, and regenerate body parts. A feud exists between Elysium and Earth, whose residents want Elysian technology to cure their illnesses. Max DaCosta lives in Los Angeles and works at an assembly line for Armadyne. Run by CEO John Carlyle, who designed Elysium, Armadyne produces Elysium's weaponry and the robots that police Earth. During an industrial accident, Max is trapped in a kiln and is exposed to a lethal dose of radiation. He is rescued and informed that he has 5 days to live. Carlyle refuses to help him, and Max is only given medication to stop the symptoms until his death. Max and his friend Julio seek help from a human smuggler named Spider to get him to Elysium in order to use a medbay. When 3 ships carrying immigrants from Earth attempt to reach Elysium, Defense Secretary Delacourt orders Agent Kruger to destroy them. 2 shuttles are shot down in space but the third is not. Once on Elysium, everyone on board is killed or deported. Elysian President Patel reprimands Delacourt for her response and threatens to fire her unless she tones down her actions. Kruger is dismissed from service. Delacourt gives Carlyle millions of dollars in weapon contracts to create a program that can override Elysium's computer to give her the presidency. Carlyle stores the program in his brain to take to Elysium and encrypts it with a program that would kill him in case of any attempt to manipulate or extract the data. Spider agrees to get Max to Elysium if he can steal information from Carlyle. Spider's men surgically attach a powered exoskeleton to Max. With Julio and Spider's men, Max shoots down Carlyle's ship. In the firefight with Carlyle's security droids, Carlyle dies. Max downloads the program to his suit's neural implant but the encryption makes it unusable. Alerted to the data theft, Delacourt reinstates Kruger and deploys him to recover the program. In a shootout, Julio is killed and Max is wounded. He contacts his friend Frey, a nurse. Frey begs Max to take her daughter Matilda to Elysium to be cured of leukemia, but Max refuses in order to protect them. Kruger, alongside mercenaries Drake and Crow, arrive and interrogate Frey. When Kruger realizes that Matilda is sick, they take Frey and Matilda aboard his ship while his drones hunt for Max. Delacourt orders an airspace lockdown over Los Angeles. Max delivers the program to Spider, who discovers that it can be used to make Earth's residents Elysian citizens. The lockdown makes it impossible to leave Earth, so Max bargains with Kruger to be taken to Elysium, unaware that Kruger is holding Frey and Matilda hostage. As Kruger's ship leaves Earth, Spider and his men take advantage of the lifting of the lockdown and board a ship towards Elysium. Meanwhile, in Kruger's ship, a fight erupts and Kruger is wounded by a grenade, which disables the ship's engines. After the ship crashes on Elysium, Max is knocked out by Drake, while Frey escapes with Matilda to a mansion, and discovers that med bays only work for Elysian citizens. Crow arrives and subdues Frey with a taser. Max, Frey and Matilda are taken to Delacourt, who orders the decryption of the program despite the fact that it will kill Max. She then orders Frey and Matilda to be taken away by Crow, who locks them in a room. After being restored in a med bay, Kruger kills Delacourt. Drake and Crow assassinate Elysian political officers in order to seize control. Having escaped his confinement, Max, knowing that medbays only work for Elysian citizens, resolves to use the program and give everyone on Earth Elysian citizenship. After being ordered by Kruger to kill Frey and Matilda, Crow prepares to rape Frey first, but Max kills him and Drake and frees Frey and Matilda. Max meets up with Spider, who has Frey and Matilda escorted to a medbay. They head for Elysium's computer core but are ambushed by Kruger. Max rips at Kruger's neural implant, rendering his suit immobile. Kruger tethers himself to Max's suit and arms a grenade to kill them both. Max rips off the tether and hurls Kruger over a ledge, killing him. Spider and Max reach Elysium's core, where Spider realizes that the program's activation will kill Max. Max activates the program. As Max dies, Elysium's core reboots and registers every Earth resident as an Elysian citizen. President Patel arrives but the robots refuse to arrest Spider, whom they now recognize as a citizen. Matilda is cured by a medbay and Elysium's computer dispatches a fleet of medical ships to treat the people of Earth. Alright. On Wednesday, we will be doing Freaky 2020 film. Here is the plot in this film. Plot. 4 teenagers are brutally murdered by a serial killer known as the Blissfield Butcher, who then steals an ancient dagger known as La Doa. The next day, bullied high school student Millie Kessler attends the Blissfield Valley High School homecoming football game, where she performs as the school mascot. As Millie waits for a ride home near the now empty school, the butcher attacks her. He stabs Millie in the shoulder with La Dola, causing an identical wound to instantly appear on his shoulder. Millie's older sister Charlene, a police officer, arrives and scares off the butcher. The police collect La Dola as evidence and initiate a manhunt for the butcher. The following morning, the butcher and Millie discover that they have switched bodies, and they both make their way to Blissfield Valley High School. At school, the butcher, now posing as Millie, kills Millie's chief tormentor Ryler by locking her in a cryotherapy tank in the girls' locker room. He realizes his innocent appearance grants him immunity from suspicion and murders sweatshop teacher Mr. Bernardi, another one of Millie's tormentors, with a table saw. Millie, now in the butcher's body, finds her best friends Nyla and Josh and proves her identity to them by performing the school mascot's dance routine and answering a series of personal questions. Nyla and Josh research La Dola and discover that Millie must stab the butcher with the dagger by midnight or else the body switch will be permanent. Later that afternoon, the butcher lures Millie's crush Booker into a monster mini golf course to kill him, but Millie, Nyla, and Josh arrive just in time to save him. Millie knocks both the butcher and Booker unconscious, and she and her friends bring the two to Josh's house. After tying the butcher to a chair, Millie and Nyla try to explain the situation to Booker, who remains unconvinced until Millie recites a love poem she anonymously wrote to him weeks earlier. Josh watches over the butcher while Millie, Nyla, and Booker drive to the police station to obtain La Doa. Nyla tricks Charlene, the last officer in the station, into leaving so she can steal the dagger. Waiting outside in the car, Booker reveals that he has always liked Millie, and Millie divulges how she enjoys the newfound strength and confidence she feels while in the butcher's body, and they kiss. The butcher eventually escapes Josh's house, and Charlene catches Nyla stealing La Doa. Still in the car, Millie sees the butcher enter the police station and runs in after him, but Charlene tries to detain her, unaware of the situation. Millie overpowers Charlene and locks her in a jail cell while the butcher escapes in a police car. At the Blissfield Valley High homecoming dance, the butcher kills 4 football players after 3 of them attempt to rape him, thinking he is Millie, and another forcibly kisses Joshua. As midnight approaches, Millie finds the butcher and both Nyla and Josh hold him down while Booker staves off the police. Millie stabs the butcher with Idoly and they switch back to their own bodies just as the police shoot down the butcher. Later, Millie and Booker talk about becoming a couple, and they kiss again. After faking his death in an ambulance, the butcher follows Millie home and attacks her, mocking her physical weakness and anxiety. Millie, Charlene, and their mother struggle to overpower the butcher, but Millie finally kills him by impaling him with a broken table leg. Alright. On Thursday, we will be doing Greenland 2020 film by Lapis Relights Girls. Here is the plot in this film. John Garrity is a structural engineer living in Atlanta, Georgia, with his estranged wife, Allison, and their diabetic son, Nathan. He returns home to watch the near-Earth passing of a recently discovered interstellar comet named Clark, with his family and neighbors. Arriving at a grocery store, John receives a strange automated phone call, informing him that he and his family have been pre-selected for emergency sheltering. Concerned, he returns home just as a comet fragment enters the atmosphere on live television. Previously anticipated to land near Bermuda, the fragment instead strikes Tampa, Florida, destroying the city and a large part of Florida. John once again receives an automated call with instructions to be at Warner Robins Air Force Base to make an evacuation flight. The Garritys then learn from their neighbor Ed, that Clark is actually a giant cluster of objects that are expected to bombard Earth over the next 2 days, with the biggest fragment expected to cause an extinction-level event. The family packs up and leaves, reluctantly leaving Nathan's friend, Ellie, when her mother desperately begs them to take her, as Ellie would not be allowed to accompany the family. At Robin's AFB, the family is allowed in with the QR code on John's phone and their wristbands. When forced to consolidate their belongings into one bag, they discover that Nathan accidentally left his insulin in the car. John goes back to get it, while Allison and Nathan are told that the family cannot be evacuated due to Nathan's ailment, and are subsequently escorted off the base. Realizing what happened to them upon boarding one plane, John leaves the base as a panicked mob breaks in, causing a gunfight that inadvertently ignites jet fuel, destroying several evacuation planes. Upon returning to their car, he finds a note left by Allison that she and Nathan are heading to her father's house in Lexington, Kentucky. Allison and Nathan get medical supplies from a looted store and are picked up by couple Ralph and Judy Vindo, who are also headed that way. The following morning, Ralph kidnaps Nathan, to Judy's horror, after Allison tells them of what happened at the base. John manages to hitch a ride on a truck with other survivors from the base, where he learns through a young man named Colin that the planes are flying to Greenland. Another survivor notices John's wristband and attempts to fight him for it, causing the truck to crash. Colin is killed and the hostile man is then killed by John with a hammer. Meanwhile, Ralph and a reluctant Judy unsuccessfully attempt to pass as Nathan's parents at another base and are arrested. Allison and Nathan reunite shortly afterward at a FEMA camp. The following day, John watches the worldwide destruction and a countdown to the final impact on TV. He steals a car and finally reaches the home of his father-in-law, Dale, and reunites with Nathan and Allison shortly afterward. The family initially decide to accept their fates, but upon learning about 5 underground bunkers near Thule Air Force Base in Greenland where those who are being evacuated are being taken to, John remembers that Colin's group was trying to get to Osgood, Ontario, where several private planes were flying people to them. Realizing they might have just enough time to make it there, the family then leaves, saying goodbye to Dale before continuing in his truck. Hours later, they reach upstate New York and get caught in a traffic jam when molten debris begins to rain down, destroying cars, people, and a helicopter. John manages to drive them to an underpass for refuge and they continue to Canada, learning that Clark's largest fragment, which is 9 miles wide, will make impact somewhere in Western Europe. They arrive at the Osgood airport and persuade the pilot of the last plane to take them. The next morning, the plane approaches Greenland. However, Another fragment strikes off the coast and the subsequent shock wave causes the plane to crash land into a valley, killing the pilots. With only minutes before impact, John, his family and the survivors are picked up by a military truck that takes them to Thule, and they manage to gain entry to one of the bunkers right as Clark's largest fragment enters the atmosphere. 9 months later, the Greenland base attempts to make radio contact with other potential survivors as various cities are shown in total ruin including Sydney, Buenos Aires, Mexico City, Paris, and Chicago. The Geraldines and other occupants of the shelter exit to see a radically changed landscape, and Greenland finally makes contact with other stations around the globe. Each are relieved to hear each other and report that the atmosphere is finally clearing, potentially giving humanity the chance to rebuild civilization. Alright. On Friday, we will be doing The Little Prince 2015 film. Here is the plot in this film. An ambitious young mother moves to a new neighborhood and imposes a life plan for her daughter that leaves no time for leisure, all for her to enroll in the prestigious Worth Academy. The girl, however, becomes distracted by her elderly retired aviator neighbor, who tells her the story of the little prince, claiming that he encountered him in the Sahara after crash landing there. The aviator recounts the little prince asking him to draw a sheep. He drew 2 sheep, including a ram, before the little prince complained he needed a sheep that would live forever. The aviator drew a box with 3 holes saying that the sheep was inside it, which satisfied the little prince. The girl and the aviator continued to read and play together without the mother's knowledge. The aviator tells the girl about the little prince's home, asteroid B612, covered in baobab sprouts. He states that after clearing away the sprouts, the little prince found and nurtured a rose into maturity. Despite becoming his friend, she was rather selfish, which caused the little prince to travel to elsewhere with a flock of birds. After meeting some adults on other asteroids, he eventually landed on Earth, meeting and taming a red fox. After a while, the fox bade goodbye to the little prince, advising him to always see with his heart. The aviator gives the girl a stuffed fox as a gift, telling her that he will leave soon to go find the little prince. The two decide to go out for her birthday, but when they are pulled over by a police officer, the aviator is revealed to have no license and the officer takes the girl home. Realizing that she has not been following the plan, her mother redoubles her daughter's assignments. Nevertheless, the girl continues to read the story of the little prince, secretly visiting the aviator to find out the story's ending. The aviator tells her that the little prince had succumbed to a venomous snake bite to be reunited with his beloved Rose. Although the aviator assures the girl that he firmly believes the little prince succeeded, she is so upset by the dark twist to the story that she wishes she had never met the aviator or heard the story. Towards the summer's end, the aviator is hospitalized. Then the girl decides to put things right, and she sets off in search of the little prince. Escaping out through her bedroom window and climbing onto a downspout, the girl falls into the aviator's yard and blacks out. After she awakens, the girl, accompanied by her now conscious stuffed fox, probably the reincarnation of the real one, and the little prince's story pages, flies the aviator's now fixed plane into space. They find all the stars mysteriously gone, all the while landing on an asteroid populated by workaholic adults owned by the businessman from the little prince's story, who captures and holds all the stars to power his asteroid and belongings, including his employees. After encountering a police officer and an elevator operator, the conceited man and the king from the story, they finally find the little prince, who has become an anxious, incompetent adult named Mr. Prince and works as a janitor for the businessman, having no recollection of his past. Mr. Prince accordingly takes the girl to an academy where she is to be reconditioned as an adult via a machine controlled by a sinister teacher. Recognizing the drawing of a sheep's box from the aviator's pages, the original of which he still keeps despite his amnesia, Mr. Prince begins to regain his memories and saves the girl from the same fate that he had by putting the teacher in the machine instead. They escape from the businessman together and liberate all of the stars from his glass vault, which return to their rightful place in the sky. The girl and the fox then take Mr. Prince back to B612, which is overgrown with dead, withered baobabs. They find the rose dead, but seeing her image in the sunrise, the baobabs disappear and Mr. Prince turns back to his younger self, giving him renewed hope. The girl and the fox, once again an inanimate toy, return home, accompanied by another flock of birds. The next morning, the girl and her mother visit the aviator in the hospital. The girl apologizes and presents him with the formerly loose pages bound together as a book, along with all the formerly missing parts filled in. The girl subsequently begins her studies at Worth Academy and reconciles with her mother. Both of them happily stargaze one night, while the little prince and the aviator are heard laughing joyfully together on asteroid B612. Alright. Also on Friday, we will be doing The Witches 2020 HBO Max film. Here is the plot in this film. In 1968, a young boy goes to live with his grandmother in Alabama, following a car accident that results in the death of his parents in Chicago. Gradually, the boy is cheered up by his grandmother, who buys him a pet mouse whom he names Daisy. One day, the boy goes to a store to buy a box of nails to train Daisy and to build a house for her as well. The boy is approached by a witch trying to lure him with a snake and a caramel, but the grandmother calls him, and the witch disappears. After telling the grandmother about the encounter, the boy learns that the witches are in fact real. She says a witch cursed her childhood friend Alice into spending the rest of her life as a chicken. The grandmother says that witches never leave once they find a child. Frantically, they decide to stay in a nearby hotel where her cousin Easton is the executive chef. While there, the grandmother teaches the boy how to tell a witch from an ordinary woman. Real witches have claws instead of fingernails, which they hide by wearing gloves, are bald, which they hide by wearing wigs that give them rashes, have square feet with no toes, which they hide by wearing sensible shoes, have a purple tinge in their pupils, and have a powerful sense of smell, which they use to sniff out children. The next day, the boy takes Daisy and a rope to do some training at a grand hall. During his walk there, he meets a gluttonous but friendly boy named Bruno, who is pulled away by his mother. The boy then goes into the grand hall, thinking he will be alone. As he is getting ready to train Daisy, a group of witches led by their all-powerful leader, the Grand High Witch, enters the grand hall. The boy hides under the stage, and so overhears the Grand High Witch planning to give the world's children a potion, mixed into confectionery products, that will transform them all into mice. The Grand High Witch waits for Bruno to arrive, to whom she earlier gave a chocolate bar laced with the potion. After Bruno arrives, he turns into a mouse and enters the vent where the boy and Daisy are hiding. The Grand High Witch discovers the boy and forcibly transforms him into a mouse with the potion, before they escape. Fleeing to the hotel room where the boy and his grandmother are staying, they tell the grandmother of the witch's plan and discover that the Grand High Witch is staying in the hotel room below them and that Daisy was once an orphan young human girl named Mary turned into a mouse by a witch. He, Bruno, and Mary devise a plan to get a bottle of the potion so that the grandmother can devise a cure to turn them back into children. The plan to get the potion is successful, but since she is unable to create a cure, they instead decide to put the potion into a broth of pea soup which will be given to the witches during their dinner. All the witches drink the soup except the Grand High Witch, who realizes that she met the grandmother before. She was the witch who turned Alice into a chicken. While the mice steal the Grand High Witch's room key, the witches all begin turning into rats, and chaos ensues. After she and the mice flee to the Grand High Witch's room, the grandmother starts to collect all the potions to destroy them. The Grand High Witch finds the grandmother, and prepares to kill her, but the mice intervene and trick the Grand High Witch into swallowing her own potion, transforming her into a rat. They trap her in an ice bucket and prevent her from escaping. Before they leave the room, the grandmother takes the Grand High Witch's trunk full of money and also releases her cat Hades from its cage. As they close the door, Hades attacks and kills the Grand High Witch. Since his parents do not accept him anymore, Bruno joins Mary, the boy, and the grandmother to go home with the Grand High Witch's trunk and become a family. Years later, the grown boy, still a mouse, and his grandmother advise young children against the witches. Alright. That's all the home video releases we got. So second, we will be doing TV series over home video releases. On today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, we will be doing Winnie the Pooh learning videos. The title of learning videos is, Making Friends, Sharing and Caring, Helping Others, Working Together and Growing Up. Alright. That's all the TV series over home video releases we got. So third, we will be doing Monkey Pictures and Roman Cow Productions and Donkey Teeth Company shorts. It is about Tom and Jerry Puss in Toots 1942 short. Puss in Toots means that Tom tries to woo a female cat, Toots. Alright. That's all the shorts we got. So fourth, we will be doing Samsung Galaxy S21. The story continues when Mai meets the unicorn in winter on the snowy day outside the Loyalist College. She pretends that she will not be here at Loyalist College. After when the unicorn goes awry, she walks up to the unicorn and Mai get caught by her premises to be here at Loyalist College. The magical girls thinks that the unicorn is only Mai's pet. Okay, did you know what? I think that was the dog barking near my room. Never mind. It was the animatronic. Darn it. The man was coming soon. Okay, read along. As the magical girls asks Mai what the unicorn name is, but she was only a female unicorn. Her name is Amelia. Sanafutaba likes the unicorn's name. As she goes to Loyalist College, Unicorn Amelia ties around her on the bike's side. As the girls try to put the bikes into the lot, the unicorn stares at them but manages to run away. However, the unicorn doesn't seem to be hurt at all. Okay, great. Now that dog is barking because of that animatronic of that barking makes me want to run away as well. So now we will have to scream so loud to help the police know that. Oh great. Now the man is here. He was trying to fix the furnace. So now I need to stop the animatronic to stop scaring us from barking near my room. No. I can't help it. He wouldn't stop barking because of that animatronic was still scaring us away. Great. Now he was whining because now that the animatronic was scaring them away from the girls' feelings. Okay, move along. As the teacher warns the students that the creature is lurking the girls' entrance, the students tries to run away but unfortunately, the students sees that it was only a unicorn. Mai warns the students that unicorn is not scary. The students goes up the unicorn and pets her. As Mai sang her unicorn song, Beatrice reveals that the unicorn is only a myth, only can be hurtful to others. But Mai tells Beatrice that Gaston is only her wife. But Beatrice sings the song that only Gaston was only her husband, that she will never marry much. So Mai watches TV called Non Non by Ori non-stop on Adult Swim Canadian television channel. When Mai goes to Gloucester, Ontario, Canada, she goes to ice skating with Sanafutaba. At the Rideau Canal, Sanafutaba kisses Mai that only she will be happy to be together again. Sana and Mai made it into the hotel to stay. Her daughter was only here at this hotel. She reunites with Mai and Sanafutaba as Mai tells her daughter that she will become a magical girl only for QB to make her wishes. As they sleep together, Mai tells about the unicorn that she left behind is only her unicorn selling point at Loyalist College. Alright. Now that the dog or the animatronic is not scaring us away from our room today, now let's do some work now and make sure that you need to make the scaring animatronic video or sounds from Freddy Fazbear from Five Nights at Freddy's. Alright. Do your work now.
Alright, let's do some work now. Hello guys. Hello. 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 Well gosh, you're all here. Anyway, so let's go to Magic Kingdom to go to Adventureland to stay at Daisy's Wonderland Lodge, okay? Okay, well you're gonna do that. I'm gonna do that right now. Okay. Good. Good. Good.